Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another reading by the Quarantine Theater Company. I am the host, Curtis. Tonight, we are going to be doing a script for a movie that was never made, and that script is for Batman Triumphant, the supposedly fifth installment in the 80s, 90s era of Burton and Schumacher Batman films. This is going to be the sequel right after Batman and Robin, but it was scrapped because Batman and Robin was didn't do well with people. So
Did well with me.
Again, my name is Curtis. I'll be the host, and I'll be also be playing the role of Bruce Wayne / Batman. I got my Robin / Nightwing here, played by Hunter. We got Alfred, played by Anne. We've got one of our main villains, the Scarecrow, Jonathan Crane, played by Logan. Another one of our main villains, Harley Quinn, played by Jessica. We have Gossip Gertie, played by Molly. We got Commissioner Gordon, played by George. We got Crime Boss Cornelius Stirk, played by Johnny. We got the psychiatrist at Arkham, Dr. Burton, played by Travis. We have Eric here playing role of character spirits, including a surprise one that will come later in this script. And we have Kate as our scene description. So, Kate, whenever you're ready, lead us in.
All right. Fade in. Exterior metropolis evening. Drums and circus music are heard in the distance. Exterior circus tent. The drums and music are heard from inside. There's also the cheering and ooh and ah of the audience. Interior circus. The ringmaster is holding court in the middle of the three rings. He's looking up toward the acrobats. The flying Graysons have just finished their last leap and are standing on their platforms waving to the audience. The audience is applauding wildly.
Yes, Metropolis, the Flying Graysons, always a showstopper. Let's show them our love.
Richard, the youngest flying Grayson, and soon to become Robin, looks down in the audience and sees Tim Drake, a young man of 8, is jumping up and down, applauding. His parents are beside him, sitting in their seats and clapping. Jack Drake, Tim's father, is trying to calm him down.
Tim, sit down, please.
All right, Dick, way to go!
Dick's father, Mr. Grayson, is standing beside Richard, nicknamed Dick, on the platform. He notices Tim jumping up and down, and he glances over to Dick, who's waving at Tim.
Who's that?
It's just some kid I met outside.
Tim sits down in his seat and looks at Jack.
Think we can come back to the circus? You think we can come back when the circus comes to Gotham?
Jack looks at Tim and smiles and runs his hand through Tim's hair. The ringmaster prepares to introduce the next act.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, may I direct your attention to the center of the ring as we send in the clowns.
2 clown cars come out from opposite wings and drive into the center ring. They then collide into each other. The doors open and 10 clowns pull out from each car and start pointing their fingers at each other. As the clowns perform their act, the audience is laughing and snapping pictures with their cameras. One particular clown starts her act. She's a teenage girl dressed in red court jester outfit. She performs a series of acrobatic stunts, twirling in the air around the clowns and eventually pushing them down. All the clowns start pushing each other away in an attempt to get closer to her, but she is constantly flipping herself out of their grasp. Finally, she leaps herself onto a higher platform out of the clown's reach. She looks out in the audience and smiles. Her face is covered with white clown makeup, but she's a beautiful girl. She is Harley Quinn. As Harley looks out to the audience, the clowns try to create a human ladder to get to her, but, of course, something goes wrong and the clowns come tumbling down. The audience applauds and laughs. Harley waves to the crowd and bows.
Yes, friends, please allow me to introduce you, the youngest in our collection of clowns, the lovely and talented Miss Harley Quinn.
The audience applauds louder as Harley leaps off the platform and cartwheels her way out of sight. Exterior circus night. The audience members are making their way out of the tent. Among them are several t-shirt vendors. The shirts have pictures of the clowns on the front with Harley above all in the mid-flap.
Once again, we thank you for coming and look forward to seeing you again when we make our return to Metropolis.
Interior dressing room. The room is packed with clowns removing their makeup. Harley walks into the room and pulls off her jester hood. She takes her seat at the dressing room mirror, and all around it are newspaper clippings of the Joker. At the counter is a framed clipping of him in his glory. When Harley sits down, she leans forward and kisses the framed picture and rubs her nose to it.
Hi, honey.
A fat clown sitting beside her shakes his head in disgust.
Just give it a rest, Harley. You actually think you're gonna meet him?
Harley caresses the framed picture and blows it another kiss.
Well, I'm not going to be in the circus forever. Who knows what the future might bring?
I've never heard of anyone dreaming to be a grubby film maniac.
He's not a maniac.
Then what is he?
Harley struggles for an answer, then smiles.
He's a clown prince.
And what? You're gonna be his princess or his gun mole, maybe?
Harley picks up the framed picture and stands up.
He's more of a clown than you'll ever be. And yes, I will be his princess. Just wait and see.
Just wait and see. You'll forgive me for not giving you two my blessings.
As Harley walks out, two clowns walk into the dressing room. Clown 1 reaches for the Joker picture.
Hey, Harley, you and Joker talking marriage yet?
Yeah, what about having little green-haired kids?
Harley smacks Clown 1's hands away from the picture and storms out of the room. Exterior circus. A storm is heard brewing in the distance. Several Metropolis citizens pull out their umbrellas. Harley walks outside, a little spring in her step as she clutches the Joker picture. A couple walks by, the gentleman holding a newspaper.
To think there were so many people in Gotham who would believe that clown.
Harley turns in their direction.
Yeah, that freak really got what he deserved.
Harley now wears a worried glance. She looks down at the picture and then looks around. A Daily Planet truck rolls by, and a package of newspapers are dropped off at a nearby newsstand. Harley runs up to the newsstand and drops to her knees as she reads the freshly printed headline. Insert newspaper. Gotham cosmetic nightmare ends. Joker dead. Back to scene. She looks down at the picture again and then at the headline.
No. No!
The newsstand vendor takes the stack of papers away from her. He looks down at the headline.
Well, they finally put that son of a bitch down.
Harley lets out a shout of despair as the rain starts to come down. She looks up at the night sky, still holding the Joker picture to her chest. The rain starts to wash away her clown makeup and her tears start flowing from her eyes. A crackle of thunder is heard as the storm begins. Lightning flashes and the squealing of bats is heard in the distance. Exterior Gotham City. Super Gotham City 10 years later. The billboards and lights from the tall buildings provide only illumination.
It's another beautiful evening in Gotham City. This was the opening of an address made at newly elected Mayor Jefferson Kroll. But what started as a jovial speech became somewhat downtrodden, and his tone shifted towards the recent union strikes, which are now going into their third month with no end in sight.
These men have a deep responsibility to their employers and to the people of Gotham City. And I think it's a sad day when their duties have to be assumed by a pair of costume freaks who have constantly been accused of doing more harm than good.
One caped figure is on the rooftops, making its way through the shadows. There's a conversation in the distance.
This score has been a long time coming. You think Stirk's up for the job?
Stark? He's a psychotic, yes, but he's never failed the boss before.
The caped figure gets closer and closer to the building, housing the conversation. As he gets closer, the voices get louder.
Your boss didn't call him the shots on this one. He's still in Arkham. Now he may be able to control Stirk, but do you actually think he could?
We shouldn't even be worried about him. I'm more worried about the Bat and his little twerp friend.
Suddenly, the caped figure shoots out a line and swings from one rooftop to the other. He's now in the building where the three men are located.
Yeah, we really need to take care of them. Any ideas?
Interior conference room. Three hoods are standing around a table discussing their plans. The men are all medium to large build, wearing casual to expensive clothing. Two of them are seated, one of them is standing up. Suddenly, the caped figure crashes through the window. All three men are brought to their feet as they turn towards the window.
It's Batman.
The caped figure stands upright. It's not Batman, it's Robin.
Don't worry about the bat. It's only his little twerp.
Kill him.
Robin leaps up and drop kicks the first hood. He then jumps up on the table and continues his work on the other two hoods. Within a few moments, all three of them are down. Robin reaches for the first hood and grabs him by his shirt.
You were saying about your plans?
Robin pulls both of them to their feet. Hood number 2 is slowly getting up and reaches for his pistol.
And why would I tell you?
Hood number 2 is in Robin's range, standing behind him. Robin quickly throws down Hood 1 and executes a backspin kick into Hood number 2. He then picks up Hood number 1 and holds him higher.
Maybe you didn't hear me.
Well, I guess I can tell you a little bit.
Robin holds him closer to his face.
I'm waiting.
Exterior Wayne Manor. All is quiet around stately Wayne Manor. The moon above is hiding behind the clouds in the sky. Interior Batcave. Bruce Wayne is walking down the staircase to the Batcave. There's a ringing noise heard getting closer as Bruce steps up to the Bat computer. He sits down at it and presses a few buttons.
Yeah.
Exterior rooftop. Robin is standing on the edge of the rooftop. Lying beside him are the three hoods, bound and gagged, unconscious. Robin is speaking into the wrist communicator.
All done. Piece of cake.
Interior Batcave. Bruce checks his watch and smiles as he speaks.
59 seconds. What took so long?
Come on, give me a break. It took a little longer to get them to talk.
And what did you find out?
Exterior rooftop.
There's going to be something going down at Gotham Security. They were talking about someone named Stirk.
Interior Wayne Manor. Bruce is now starting to look a little worried.
All right. Meet me there in 30 minutes. 20 minutes.
Bruce shuts off the communicator, then gets up and walks to the vault holding his costumes. The door opens and he steps inside. Exterior rooftop. Robin shuts off his communicator and picks up one of the thugs. Inside the Batcave, Bruce steps out of the vault, now transformed into Batman. He walks over to the Batmobile, which is ready to roll. He steps inside and starts the car. The Batmobile drives off through the tunnel leading to the outside world. Exterior Arkham Asylum. Its dark, gloomy mansion housing in the most terrifying, insane men and women ever seen in Gotham. Interior hallway, outside cells. Dr. Burton is walking down the hallway. He's a small, middle-aged man with frizzy hair and a kind face. He's wearing glasses and a white coat, holding a clipboard. He walks up to one of the cells. Outside the cell is a large prison guard.
And how is our patient tonight?
As quiet as ever. The only time he even moves is to get his food.
Good. Very good. Looks like he really has earned his good behavior release. Well, let's see how he's feeling.
Dr. Burton walks up to the door and opens the slot. He peers inside the cell. Inside the cell, Dr. Burton clears his throat before speaking to the patient sitting on the bed.
Jonathan.
The patient, Dr. Jonathan Crane, slowly turns towards the door when his name is called. His face is mostly hidden in the shadows. Only his piercing eyes are in full view. Crane smiles at Dr. Burton.
Yes, Dr. Burton.
How are you feeling tonight? Ready for your big day tomorrow?
Oh, I feel wonderful. I've been waiting for tomorrow for quite some time.
Excellent. I only hope everything goes as smoothly as you're hearing today. Well, I'll leave you alone then. Have a good night. Have a good night's sleep, Jonathan. I'll see you in the morning.
Good night, Doctor.
The light coming from the hallway is cut off when Dr. Burton shuts the door slot. Alone in the darkness, Crane lies back on his bed, slowly closes his eyes. Then he lets out a small chuckle. Exterior, Gotham Cathedral rooftop. Crouched down on the rooftop is Batman. Robin swings down from the sky in his gauntlet and it lands next to Batman.
You're late.
I had to drop off the thugs with Gordon's men. There were 3 of them.
Take a look down there and tell me what you see.
Robin pulls out a pair of small binoculars and peers down. Robin sees a group of thugs breaking into Gotham Security Building. Leading the gang is a hideous-looking man named Cornelius Stirk. Robin's face scrunches in disgust.
Who is it?
Looks like he had a blind date with Cuisinart.
Doesn't teach at best. Poster boy for the hair club for men.
You know him?
That's Cornelius Stirk. Keep your distance.
Sounds like fun.
Hey, I mean it.
Okay. You're the boss, right?
Robin folds up his binoculars and places them in his utility belt. Both men pull out their gauntlets and fire them. Grappling hooks shoot out. Exterior Gotham Security Building. The grappling hooks attach themselves to the wall above the building. Cornelius and the thugs look up. Batman and Robin fly down from the wires and land on the ground. Cornelius looks at Batman and smiles.
And it's not even my birthday. Kill them.
The thugs charge at Batman and Robin with clubs, axes, and crowbars. Robin jumps out and takes the first couple of thugs. Batman takes care of some of the others. Cornelius runs inside the security building amid the chaos. Robin runs inside the building after him.
Robin, no. Get back here.
More thugs come out from behind the building and charge at Batman. Batman uses various weapons from his utility belt to take them down one by one. Interior security building. Robin runs in. There are no lights on. Robin flicks a switch on his headpiece. Robin's night vision is activated. As he walks deeper inside the building, he sees the racks of rifles, pistols, and various other weapons. Suddenly, a thug leaps out from the darkness. Robin reacts and takes a swing at the thug. More thugs come out from the darkness and surround Robin. He leaps out and attacks. One by one, they fall. After a few moments, the fighting has stopped and the thugs are lying at Robin's feet.
Who's next?
Batman steps out of the shadows. Robin is taken aback for a moment. He looks back at the door and then at Batman. Batman steps closer and closer to him.
Thought you were out there. Did you see the mess I left back there?
Oh, I saw it.
Batman sucker punches Robin in the gut, then punches him in the head. Robin falls to the ground. Batman smiles at him and reaches behind his back. He pulls out a large steak knife.
What was that for? What'd you hit me?
Batman laughs in his face. Suddenly, Batman dissolves away and Cornelius is standing in his place.
God, what the hell are you?
The man, little boy. The man who needs your freshly harvested heart. Such a delicious combination that is fierce concoction. Makes my mouth water from the fear in your young eyes.
Suddenly, a batarang strikes Stirk in the head. Batman runs into the room.
Get away from him, Stirk.
Ah, come on, Crusader. You know as well as I that there's nothing wrong with little fear in a young man's heart. Is there, Bird Boy?
Robin starts to edge walk away from Stirk, still on the ground. His breathing gets more rapid.
You'll be mine again, little man. Another day.
Batman runs to Stirk. Cornelius pulls out a flash bomb and throws it on the ground. A terribly bright flash is ignited. The light is intensified in the eyes of Batman and Robin because of their night vision. Robin screams and covers his eyes. Batman shields his eyes with his cape and switches off his night vision. When the light fades, Stirk is gone. Batman looks around and finds nothing. He then looks down at Robin and reaches down to switch off his night vision. Robin looks up at Batman.
So that was Stirk.
Exterior security building. A group of squad cars are in the parking lot. Overseeing the collaring is Commissioner James Gordon. He walks over to one of the thugs on the ground and picks up a black piece of cloth. He puts it in his pocket and walks away from the crowd. Exterior city streets. Gordon walks up the sidewalk and waits. He checks his watch.
Busy night.
Nothing I'm not used to.
Batman emerges from the shadows. Gordon looks away.
Good timing for a hit like that with the security guards on strike.
I'll have to speak with the mayor on the progress the unions are making. I got your message.
Those men we brought down. Cornelius Stirk was with them.
Stirk? Nobody's heard much from him in a while. Word around town was he relocated.
That's not Stirk's style.
Of course not.
Jim, those men work for the Scarecrow.
You think his getting released tomorrow has something to do with this?
Very likely.
They wanted those weapons for something. Why is it you want to meet here all the...
When Gordon turns around, Batman is gone. Gordon hesitates for a moment, then puts the cloth in his pocket and walks away. A moment passes, and Batman reappears. He's holding a pair of roses in his hand. He crouches down and places roses on the sidewalk. Batman stands up and looks down at the roses and walks away. Exterior Wayne Manor. Day. The television inside is on and the voice of Gossip Gertie, Gotham's leading news reporter, is heard.
Good morning, Gotham. It's Gossip Gertie. We're outside the infamous Arkham Asylum, where we're expected to witness the release of one of Gotham City's most dangerous, though now reformed, criminals.
Interior Wayne Manor living room. Bruce and Dick are sitting down watching the television. Alfred Pennyworth is walking around the room, keeping everything nice and neat. Bruce keeps his eyes on the screen. Dick keeps his head down, deep in thought. Gossip Gertie is standing beside Dr. Burton on the television.
I'm standing here outside the asylum with Dr. Maxwell Burton, who claims to be nothing less than delighted with the reforming of Jonathan Crane. Do you care to comment on how you were able to change a man such as Mr. Crane?
Well, Mrs. Gertie, it took quite some time for Dr. Crane to rehabilitate himself, but I believe he has done a fabulous job. I'm very proud of his turn toward the light, if you will.
So, what are Mr. Crane's plans for the future now that he is a free man again?
Dr. Burton looks over his shoulder and smiles.
Well, why don't you ask him that yourself, Miss Gertie?
Dr. Jonathan Crane steps out of the asylum. He is dressed splendidly with a three-piece suit. His hair is neatly combed back and he is smiling brightly.
And here he is, Gotham, the fully reformed Mr. Jonathan Crane. How are you feeling now, Jonathan?
Oh, wonderful. Thank you very, very much, Miss Gertie. I've always been a big fan of your work.
Gertie blushes a bit, not able to let go of her smile.
Oh, my. Thank you, Mr. Crane. I didn't know I was popular around here.
Oh, you're a much bigger star than you think, my dear.
Gertie blushes.
Well, oh dear. Well, Mr. Crane, what appears to be in your future?
Well, you'll be happy to know that Gotham University is offering me my old job back as a professor of psychology, and I'm already looking forward to the year ahead. My students are in for a treat.
Bruce narrows his eyes as he watches the set. He then looks over to Dick, who's keeping his head down, not saying a word. Dick looks up at the ceiling, wearing an angry look.
Still thinking about last night?
Of course.
You have to put it behind you, Dick.
I can't.
Well, I tell you to stay away from Stirk. Why didn't you listen to me?
I don't know. I guess I wanted to prove something, you know?
Prove that you're good enough to be my partner? Dick, you've done that more times than I can count.
Dick stands up and walks away. Bruce looks up at Alfred, who's standing nearby cleaning. Alfred looks at Bruce and smiles.
You were listening.
It would be a disappointment to you if I was not, sir.
You should have seen him last night, Alfred. It was like a man possessed or something. What else is there for him to prove?
I'm shocked at your naivete, Master Bruce.
You know something I don't?
As disarming as it may sound, yes, sir.
Alfred sits down next to Bruce.
Master Dick is simply growing up, sir. You two have been partners for quite some time now and has grown accustomed to the perils of the city and to his job.
And he feels he can take on that duty himself against people like Stirk, like Crane.
Jonathan Crane is kissing the hand of Gossip Gertie. She giggles flirtatiously. Bruce gives an angry sneer, then calms down and turns back towards Alfred.
Dick's not ready for it.
Master Bruce, how many years did you go into that big bad city by yourself? How many times did you prove time and time again that you were more than suitable for the task?
Well, he's shown some improvement over the past few months, but after last night, I'm not so sure. How did he get that reckless? You wouldn't even listen to me, Alfred.
Alfred stands up, looks down at Bruce. He smiles and walks away. Bruce is left alone with his thoughts. Exterior Gotham University. Crane and Dean Rowland, a middle-aged man with gentle face, are walking along the campus. Several students are passing by.
It's like old times, doesn't it, Dr. Crane? Good to be back.
I was telling Dr. Burton how excited I was for the longest time. I'm sure he was anxious for me to leave as I was.
Rowland laughs at Crane's joke. Crane and Rowland continue walking along as they are able to the main school doors. There's a flock of birds nearby. Crane notices them and then walks away from Rowland towards the birds. He smiles and flails his arms. The birds scatter. Crane smiles at them as they fly away. He looks back towards Dean Rowland and gives him a slight grin before dropping back to his serious tone.
Dean Rowland, would you join my classroom?
Of course, Dr. Crane.
Interior classroom. Crane is unpacking his bag. Inside are the instruments he would commonly use in his classroom. He places the items on the desk. Crane then pulls out a .22 Smith & Wesson pistol. He holds it up and examines it. Crane closes his eyes and smiles. Inside his head is the voice of a younger Jonathan Crane teaching his students.
Ladies and gentlemen, the psychology of the gun.
Interior classroom flashback. Crane, 10 years younger, reaches into his desk and pulls out the Smith & Wesson. He aims it at the vase on his desk and fires. The vase shatters and the students jump back in panic. Crane looks back at the students and smiles. Back to present day, Crane opens his eyes and places the pistol at the front of his desk. He reaches into the bag again and pulls out a small white skull. Crane holds it in his hand with a strong grip, then opens a drawer and places the skull inside. Suddenly, there's a knock at the door. Crane quickly turns towards the doorway and Dean Rowland is standing there.
Oh, Dean Rowland, I was just remembering. What can I do for you?
Well, I hate to bother you, but there's a delivery here. 4 large wooden boxes.
Ah, good. My equipment is here.
Equipment, but I thought we had everything you needed.
Your labs are adequate, Dean Rowland. This is just some extra materials for my more advanced students.
Would you like some help with the boxes?
Oh, no, thank you. I'll take care of them.
Rowland walks away. A mover walks into the classroom, wheeling in a large box and a cart. The mover keeps his head down, wearing a typical green outfit and matching cap. Crane looks at his watch and looks back up at the mover.
You're late.
The mover looks up at Crane. Suddenly, his face changes and reshapes itself into the face of Cornelius Stirk.
I got hungry. I made myself some stew. Would you like some? I have leftovers.
Of course not. You know I can never stomach your cooking.
My cooking should appeal to all of you people. All right. All the right ingredients. Create the pot full of bubbling fear.
Well, there'll be plenty of time for the recipe exchanging later. For now, get the equipment ready.
Cornelius wheels the cart to the back of the classroom and starts unloading the equipment. There are several small monitors and a computer terminal. Cornelius keeps walking out of the room and back into it, bringing the other boxes.
Where are the other men? I paid good money for them.
Ask Batman and his little sparrow.
Batman and Robin?
Yeah, I got the kid real scared. Oh, Crane, you should have seen that. You should have seen the little brat's face. His eyes, I can't wait to make him feel that way again.
You just may get your chance. First, we should pay Blackgate prison a visit.
Interior Harley Quinn's apartment. Various clippings and photos of the Joker covering the walls. In the center of the room is Harley Quinn. She is sitting in a slouched position on a chair. Her hair is ragged with bangs streaming down her face. Her clothes are tattered. She's holding a remote control. She's facing a small television and VCR. In the VCR is a video recording of CNN coverage of Joker's death. On the screen is an image of the Joker in all his glory, standing atop the Gotham City 200 float. Harley pauses the tape and stares into Joker's eyes. She smiles. Harley presses play. The rest of the news coverage continues. She watches the Smilex gas pour seeping from the floats. The people are in a panic, reaching for money and running. Harley laughs silently to herself as she watches. She starts to laugh harder, feeling more and more giddy. Suddenly, Harley's laughing stops as Batwing comes into the frame, taking the balloons and cutting them loose into the sky. The news coverage continues. Harley watches the Joker dangling helplessly from a ladder above Gotham Cathedral with a stone gargoyle attached to his leg. Harley starts to frown. Tears roll down her face. The rage inside her begins to swell. She continuously presses rewind and play, switching images of Batman and the Joker. The more she does it, the angrier she gets. Finally, she shrieks and throws the remote control into the television set. Harley stands up and looks around her room at all the different pictures of the Joker. She grabs one, the framed one she has kept in mint condition for the past 10 years, and plants a big kiss on it. Harley then places the photo down and glances over at her old circus costume, wrapped in plastic and hanging on the closet doorknob. She smiles wickedly. Exterior Blackgate prison night. The gates are tightly shut. The security guards are on alert. Interior prison. A guard is sitting on the control booth watching the different monitors. Suddenly, another guard and a man wrapped in a cloak walk into the room.
Let's go. You're on break.
Break? No, I don't think so. I just had one.
The guard's face dissolves away into the face of Stirk.
You should have done what you're told.
Stirk pulls out his knife, and the cloaked man reaches into his cloak and pulls out a small white skull.
Wait. Leave him to me. Find what we came for.
Stirk smiles and walks away. The guard watches him leave.
Hey, come back here. You can't.
Oh, don't worry about him.
The cloaked man moves closer and closer to the guard. The cloak opens a little, revealing a green strawed costume underneath. It's the Scarecrow, alias Dr. Jonathan Crane.
Instead, tell me about you.
He squeezes the skull, and the green mist spews out from the skull's eyes.
Tell me about your dreams as they slip away from you and your nightmares as they flash before your very eyes.
The guard's eyes widen in fear. A swarm of hornets suddenly appear towards him. The guard shrieks and steps away. Scarecrow watches him and laughs. In a desperate act, the guard reaches out and hits the alarm button on the computer console. Exterior prison, the alarms blare. In the distance, the bat signal is activated. Inside the Batcave, Batman steps out of the costume vault. He hears a noise, grunting, punches. Batman walks towards the source of the noise. When he finds it, he steps into the workout room. Robin is in full costume, punching fiercely at a punching bag.
Robin,
Yeah?
you coming with me tonight?
Sure. Just working out some kinks.
Robin keeps his punches concentrated on one part of the bag.
Be careful. You don't want to.
Robin reaches back and delivers one final punch that breaks a hole in the bag. Robin looks back at Batman and pulls his fist out of the bag. He flashes Batman a smile.
Never mind.
Exterior Gotham City. The Batmobile and the Red Bird race out into the streets. The bat signal is still shining brightly over Gotham. Inside the Batmobile, Batman flicks the switch on the Batmobile console. A small image of Commissioner Gordon appears.
What have you got, Jim?
Looks bad. Alarms going off at Blackgate prison.
Any word about an escape?
Not yet. We're still waiting to hear something.
We'll be right there.
Batman shuts off the communicator and accelerates. Interior, Harley Quinn's apartment. Harley's sewing kit is open. Loose thread and fabric are lying about. In the shadows, it's Harley Quinn. Piece by piece, she is putting on her new and improved costume. It's red and black, and there's a new mask that covers her eyes. The complete outfit gives off a much more sinister approach than the costume she wore during her circus days. Harley fixes the headpiece in her mirror. She smiles wickedly as she checks herself out. There's a police scanner on, and Harley hears the report of alarms going off at Blackgate prison.
Okay, Miss Quinn, let's see what tricks you're gonna pull off tonight.
Exterior Gotham City. Robin flips a switch in his handlebar. It's an intercom between the two vehicles.
What's going on?
Some trouble at Blackgate. Possible jailbreak. You take the outside. I'll be going in.
Just don't put the car on the roof again. Remember how stupid we looked trying to get it down last time?
Nag.
Interior Blackgate prison. Scarecrow's men are sitting in their respected jail cells. There's a sudden commotion that attracts the men's attention. The frightened guards runs into the room, screaming his lungs out.
Get away from me!
The cloaked man walks into the room from behind him, holding a set of keys. The cloak drops at his feet. The Scarecrow is standing there in his complete costume in all his glory. He smiles as he looks at his men. Exterior Blackgate prison. Batman and Robin arrive at the prison. Batman goes inside while Robin covers him outside. Inside, Batman puts on a small gas mask and fires small tear gas bombs to help make out the convicts who haven't escaped. In the confusion, Stirk runs out of the prison, hoping to make a fast escape. Scarecrow remains unnoticed, watching Batman do his thing. He then slowly exits. Exterior. Robin notices a couple of convicts trying to escape. Before the police can react, Robin leaps onto battle and quickly dispatches the convicts. The other police officers join in to help the unconscious ones back to their respected cells. Robin looks around for more and finally spots Cornelius Stirk trying to make a quick exit. Thinking it's just a regular criminal, Robin runs up to him and kicks him right in the back. Stirk turns around and the two of them lock eyes on each other. Stirk smiles. Robin's face becomes one of rage, and he pummels Stirk with punches and kicks. The guard with the fear gas runs out of the prison, still thinking there's a swarm of hornets after him. The police keep him quiet in the meantime. Interior. Back inside the prison, Batman finishes off the last of the convicts, using a sorted supply of gadgets from his utility belt. When he's done, the smoke from the tear gas clears, and it's clear for his gas to come off. Batman looks around for more and hears the commotion from outside. Outside, Robin pulls Stirk into his feet and repeatedly punches him to the ground, then pulls him back up to do it again. Batman runs out and sees Robin holding Stirk.
Robin.
Robin turns his head towards Batman. The distraction is enough for Stirk to push Robin away and use one of his flash bombs to escape. When the light fades, Stirk is gone. Robin shouts out a cry of anger and having let Stirk escape. Batman puts his hands on Robin's shoulders.
Calm down.
I had him, damn it. I had him in my hands. I could have finished him off right there.
But you didn't. Remember that. If you had, you'd have brought yourself down to his level.
Oh my God, they're coming at me.
Son, calm down. There's nothing there.
Batman walks over to Gordon, holding the guard down. Robin is left alone, looking up at the sky with his hands on his hips. Gordon is holding the guard down on the ground. There's a couple of cops standing by, keeping their distance.
Let me see him.
Batman takes a look at the guard and looks into his eyes. The eyes are wide and pupils are dilated. Sweat is pouring down his forehead.
Can you hear me? Not if you can.
The guard takes a few deep breaths, then looks at Batman. Sweat is still pouring down his brow as he slowly nods his head.
Are you all right now? There's nothing here. It's okay. You're safe.
There's nothing there. I'm okay.
Batman smiles and pulls the guard to his feet. He looks around confused.
Can you remember what happened, son?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I remember a guard coming up to me and telling me that it's time for my lunch break.
And then what?
There was this guy, some guy with a cloak, and he had a skull with him.
Batman looks at Gordon, wearing a worried glance.
Was he holding the skull up to you?
The guard thinks for a moment and nods.
Yeah, it was a small skull, fit right in his hand, and it sprayed something.
Was it green mist?
Green mist, yeah, and then there were all these.
The guard cuts himself off and he starts to breathe heavily again. He starts panicking. Batman pulls out a small needle and pricks the guard with it. The guard slowly falls asleep. Gordon looks at one of the cops nearby and beckons him over.
Get this man to a hospital.
The cop beckons another cop to help him get the guard up. Batman and Gordon walk away from the cops together.
Fear gas?
Scarecrow.
Batman walks towards Robin, who looks over at Batman.
Everything's done.
Let's go.
Batman and Robin move towards their vehicles. In the meantime, one convict gets unnoticed. He's holding a knife in his hand. He starts walking towards Batman and Robin when another figure grabs him and pulls him down. The convict looks up to see Harley Quinn standing there in her costume. She kicks him repeatedly.
Nobody kills him but me.
Off in the distance, Scarecrow watches and absorbs the action. He smiles. His plan is starting to take form. Exterior Gotham City. The Batmobile and the Redbird are just coming up to the Batcave. Batman sits silently in the Batmobile, stone-faced. Robin sits on the Redbird, not saying a word. He wears an extremely angry look. Interior Mayor's office waiting room. Commissioner Gordon is sitting in the waiting room, looking at the door to the mayor's office. He's holding his coat. Victoria, the mayor's secretary, comes up to Gordon.
Mayor Kroll will see you now, sir.
Thank you, Victoria.
Gordon gets up and walks to the door. Inside the mayor's office, Mayor Jefferson Kroll is sitting behind his large desk. Gordon is already sitting in one of the two chairs positioned in front of the desk. His coat is on the empty chair. The conversation is in progress.
Let me get this straight, James. From everything that went down at Blackgate Prison last night, you mean to tell me that you want to pin all the blame on a reformed psychology professor?
Jonathan Crane is much more than that, Mr. Mayor. You know that as well as I do. Why do you think he was sent to Arkham in the first place?
Now you just hold it right there, Commissioner. I haven't finished yet.
Gordon glares at Kroll but doesn't respond.
I also understand that your Batman was heavily involved in this incident.
Both Batman and Robin made sure this incident was contained. If you had given the security guards the raise they deserve,
Then there wouldn't even been a hit on Blackgate. So you would admit that so-called dynamic duo, as the press has been so kind to label, is responsible for last night?
now that's not what I mean at all.
Oh, from what you have just said, I have to disagree. You know, James, for someone in your high position, you seem to depend an awful lot on a couple of costumes pains in my ass.
Gordon grabs his coat.
If this is just another of your events, I have work to do. Batman and Robin have saved our city more times than...
And if Gotham's police had a more able-bodied leader, they would have done the job just as well, if not better.
Gordon's about to say something to Kroll and turns to leave.
You got lucky this time, James. But if anything else like this happens, I may be forced to call in the National Guard.
Gordon stops in his tracks and turns back towards Kroll.
If you do that, then...
Kroll stands, keeping total eye contact with Gordon.
That's right, James. With my position comes power. And with the news that's sparked from one phone call, I can destroy your career.
Gordon hesitates for a moment, then turns and leaves the room. Exterior Gotham University. A sign is posted on the doors outside. The sign reads, "Earn $25 today. Harmless psychology experiment. Report to Gotham U Auditorium for Dr. Jonathan Crane, 6 p.m." A group of students crowds around the sign. They ad-lib their thoughts, all positive since they can earn money. Many of them open their date books and write down the information. A student aide is busy putting up more flyers. The more flyers he puts up, the more students are attracted to the offer. Interior Gotham University Auditorium. There are a bunch of empty chairs with wireless virtual reality helmets on each one. The desk in the front has a computer terminal on it. Several monitors are displayed along the walls of the auditorium. The students file into the room. They look around and ad-lib their comments about the setup. The student aide who posted the signs walks up to the front.
Please take your seats and keep the helmets in your lap until you're instructed to put them on.
The students obey, taking their seats and holding the helmets. When everyone's in their seats, the door opens and Crane walks in. He looks around the room and smiles.
My, such a wonderful turnout. Thank you all for coming, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so thrilled there are so many of you here.
Crane walks over to the student aide and pulls out a 20 from his wallet. Crane hands it to the aide.
Thank you for your help, my friend.
The student aide smiles and leaves the room. Crane turns to the students before him.
Now, we can get to the point of the evening. The experiment. And I'm sure that it is greed rather than the pursuit of knowledge that has brought you all here, but do not worry. You will be here getting the payment you deserve once we are finished. Now, if you'll be so kind as to place the helmets on your head, we can begin.
The students put on the helmets and wait patiently. Crane walks over to the terminal and turns it on. The students see a dazzling light show, a beautiful display of laser lights and computer graphics. Occasionally, the student will raise his or her hand, and they'll see a computer graphic visual representation of their hand. Suddenly, there's a blinding white light and a series of hypnotic flashing lights appear. They form a circular pattern and revolve around each other. Then the lights start to take shape. The voice of Jonathan Crane is heard.
This is a painful world, full of torture, damnation, persecution, and most of all, fear. Only one thing can take all of that away, and that's me.
The spheres of flashing light rearrange themselves to form a computer-generated image of the Scarecrow.
I am your savior. I am your master. I am your guide. I am the Scarecrow.
The image of the Scarecrow gets smaller and smaller, and the words "Obey me" appear through the image, the letters dripping in blood. Soon enough, the whole screen is filled with red. Then another blinding light, and all that is left on the screen is now multicolored flashing spheres. Back to the auditorium, the Scarecrow is standing before the students in full costume.
I now declare the experiment completed. You may remove your helmets.
The students slowly remove their helmets. They all have blank stares now, completely hypnotized. The Scarecrow slowly walks around the room, nodding his head and approving of his own work.
Remarkable. No passion so effectually robs the mind of all of its power as acting and reasoning as fear.
Scarecrow waves his hand in front of one of the students' face.
I see you haven't been studying your Burke as I instructed you to. And now for the final stage of the experiment, the conclusion. Everyone stand.
The students stand as one group simultaneously.
Excellent. Now sit.
The students sit. Scarecrow pulls out a gun and hands it to one of the students in front.
Now you. Shoot him.
The student with the gun hesitates. The one instructed to be shot still looks forward, completely oblivious.
Oh, I know it's hard. The most mortal sin of all, thou shalt not kill.
Scarecrow leans towards the student and whispers in his ear.
But now I know that I'm your God. And I require not worship, but obedience. Do it, my little lamb. Make your God happy and earn a place in his kingdom for all. Kill him.
The student pulls the trigger. A shot rings out. The target drops to the floor, dead.
Incredible, I amaze even myself. Now, I'll need all of you to line up and go to my classroom. There, you'll find your costumes. Now move.
The students stand and line up to leave the room. When all the students are gone, Dean Rowland runs into the room. There's nobody in the room, just the equipment.
Is anybody here? I heard a gunshot.
The Scarecrow walks into the room and grabs Roland's shoulder. Roland is startled and he turns around.
Greetings, Dean Rowland. How nice of you to visit.
Dr. Crane, is that you?
Oh, but of course, my friend. And in fact, you're just the person I need. I'll need another chaperone for the field trip I'm sending these students on.
Scarecrow grabs a virtual reality helmet. He puts his arms around Dean Rowland and leads him to a seat.
Now we just need to get you prepared.
Roland struggles in his seat, trying to get up, but Scarecrow slams the helmet on his head, knocking him out. Once Roland is unconscious, Scarecrow examines the helmet he used as a weapon. It's broken. Scarecrow picks up another and puts that one on Roland's head. He then walks over to the terminal and switches it on.
Are you ready to change your religion, Dean Rowland?
Exterior Gotham City Park. Dick is jogging around the park. He's wearing a gray sweatsuit and white sneakers, looking as typical as anyone else. He stops by a refreshment cart and buys a bottle of water. When Dick buys the water, he walks over to the park bench and opens the bottle to drink it. Suddenly, something catches his eye. He leans forward and smiles as he sees Harley. Harley is sitting on a nearby bench, looking at the fountain in the park. She's dressed casually in a long-sleeve shirt and tight pants. She looks much better than she previously did.
Harley?
Dick gets up and walks over to Harley's bench.
Harley? Harley Quinn?
Harley looks up and smiles as she sees Dick.
Dick Grayson.
Both of them are speechless, unable to stop smiling.
How are things? I mean, how have you been?
Oh, great. Things have been going well. How about you? Are you still at the circus?
Oh, no. I had to leave the circus quite a few years ago.
Well, what did your parents say about that? Didn't they still need you as one of the flying Graysons?
Dick sips his water and pauses.
That's right. You had already left when it happened.
Harley's still at a loss.
When what happened?
My parents, they died. Some guy named Two-Face killed them. My older brother, too.
Oh my God, Dick, I'm so sorry.
Harley gets up and gives him a big hug. Dick gives a little smile as he hugs her back.
I'm such an idiot. I didn't mean to push Dick. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, it's okay. I learned to cope with it. Don't worry about it.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. It's been a while, and I've gotten past it.
Would you like to take a walk with me?
Dick smiles at Harley and she smiles back.
Sure.
Harley and Dick start walking around the park.
So what happened to you after you left the circus? I remember you took off without a word.
Well, I had some things I needed to work out, get my head straight, make a plan for myself after the circus, you know?
The other clowns gave you a hard time, didn't they? Something about you wanting to marry the Joker?
Well, I did. Hell, I still do.
You still do? Did you know he's dead, right? He died a few years back when...
Harley turns to Dick.
I know what happened, Dick. I saw what Batman did to him.
Batman saved the whole city. Joker was gonna gas everyone.
He was gonna make them laugh, which is every clown's job.
Dick gives Harley a funny look.
Well, I can't get into debate about it. Neither of us were there.
We have quite a bit in common, Dick.
Dick is about to ask her what she means, but she just smiles.
Yeah, it's good to see you again.
Harley smiles back.
Good to see you too.
Interior Wayne Manor study. Bruce is busy reading in his study. Alfred is walking around dusting as usual. Dick walks into the study wearing a big grin on his face. Bruce looks up from his book, noticing Dick's smile.
Do my eyes deceive me?
What?
Did that smile I seen on my previously downtrodden partner?
Guess I just felt differently today.
It's nice to see you again in good spirits, Master Dick.
Thanks, Al. Feels pretty nice, too.
You'll be happy to know that I've received a postcard from Barbara in London. She's doing well at school and sends her love. And an extra kiss to you, Master Dick.
Dick smiles at Bruce and sits up straight.
I know you can't keep it in much longer. So, might as well tell me why you are so happy today.
Can a guy just enjoy a jog through the park on a beautiful day?
You met a girl.
Not just any girl. Harley Quinn.
Alfred and Bruce give each other confused looks.
She is...
An old friend from the circus. She was the head of the clowns. Bruce, you should have seen her. She was so cool. Dressed in a court jester outfit and flipping and twirling her way out of the reach of the other clowns.
Sounds like a fun act. Should keep in touch with her.
Don't worry about that. I am. Hey, what's that?
It's a speech I have to make for the opening to Wayne Enterprises, this new security facility. You should take your new friend. You could use a date. We need to get you out more.
Are Batman and Robin going to be guest stars there?
Absolutely not. They have better things to do than to schmooze for Gossip Gertie.
So who's your date?
She's,
Alfred walks over to Bruce and whispers in his ear.
Crystal. Yes. Thank you, Alfred.
You're quite welcome, Master Bruce.
Interior Gotham Auditorium. The student aide is busy putting away the equipment. Crane is standing in the doorway.
You do know what to do with that.
Of course I do. You paid me good money.
The student aide transforms into Cornelius Stirk.
I'd like to have it back when we're finished, Stirk.
So, what's the plan tonight?
You are to lead our army to the new security facility at Wayne Enterprises is opening.
What about you?
We'll need a diversion. Somebody to get Batman and Robin off of our backs. And I know just where we can find it.
Exterior Wayne Enterprises security, night. An assortment of reporters and photographers are ready. The Wayne limo pulls up. The photographers snap to attention. Alfred steps out of the driver's seat and opens the door for Bruce, Dick, etc. Bruce steps out with the stunning brunette named Crystal. She's holding tightly to Bruce's arm. Dick steps out with Harley Quinn around his arm. She is looking nothing short of fabulous, holding a medium-sized handbag.
Once again, Gossip Gertie is here to bid greetings to all of Gotham City. This would normally be a modestly handled evening for the opening of the new security facility.
Bruce and Dick effortlessly move through the crowd.
But in this case, the owner is Gotham's most eligible bachelor and my close personal friend, Bruce Wayne. So in true Wayne fashion, all the stops have been pulled out.
Inside Wayne Enterprises security, drinks are being served and the large crowd is mingling amongst themselves. Bruce is at the center of attention, shaking hands from everyone around him. Crystal holds on to him tightly. Dick and Harley walk around the facility holding hands. Bruce and Crystal eventually get out of the group and start walking around themselves. In the midst of the group, watching over Bruce, is Dean Rowland. He is well dressed in order to blend into the group of suits and the press. He still has the blank stare given to him by the Scarecrow.
Such a night as this has attracted even newly elected Mayor Jefferson Kroll. He is expected to make a speech right later on tonight.
Later, Mayor Kroll is standing on a podium addressing the crowd. Flashbulbs are going off and the reporters are holding up their microphones to Mayor Kroll's mouth.
And in closing, I must say that it is truly a wonder for people like our host, Bruce Wayne, to present to the people of Gotham City a brand new facility that not only brings more jobs to us, but lets us feel protected once again.
Applause breaks out.
Now, we won't have to depend on a pair of costume vigilantes to carry out the justice the people of Gotham City deserve.
Harley Quinn giggles and applauds loudly as the rest of the people applaud as well. Bruce and Dick exchange irritated glances. Dick looks at Harley and Harley stops applauding.
Costume vigilantes aren't all bad.
Yeah, when they hit the innocent.
So upset over the Joker thing, huh?
Harley frowns at Dick and pulls away from him.
Joker thing? Jesus, you're just like all those other clowns.
Mayor Kroll motions for Bruce to come up to the podium.
Bruce, come on up here and say hi to these lovely guests.
Crystal kisses Bruce on the cheek, and Bruce moves his way up to the podium. Dick is still pondering what Harley was talking about.
Those other clowns?
Bruce waves at the people in the crowd. He looks up at the ceiling and sees a green mist slowly seeping from the vents. Bruce quickly reaches into his pocket and pulls out a pair of small nose filters. He turns around and inserts them in each of his nostrils. When Bruce turns back around, he looks at Dick. Dick looks back at him. Then Bruce glances up and Dick does the same. When Dick sees the mist, he quickly pulls out a pair of nose filters and inserts them accordingly. Bruce pulls out his speech and clears his throat to speak. Suddenly, there's a scream in the back of the room. A woman is shrieking maniacally.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Please don't hurt me! Please!
The woman's husband is trying to comfort her.
Darling, are you okay? It's me. Don't you recognize me?
The woman is not seeing her husband, but a man in a ski mask holding a gun to her head. Interior Wayne Enterprises. The woman starts pulling off her jewelry and handing it to her husband. He looks confused for a moment, then looks down and yells out in fear. The husband is suddenly standing on thin ice that's breaking very quickly. The ice breaks as he falls into the ice-cold water. The husband clutches his heart and drops to the ground.
Help me. Somebody help me. So cold.
As the mist now shoots from the vents everywhere, all the people in attendance are shrieking in panic. Cries of "Help me! Save me! Please don't leave me!" echo through the halls. Dick quickly covers Harley's nose and mouth. Bruce comes down from the podium and does the same for Crystal before the mist gets to them.
We got to get them outside.
As Bruce and Dick move their dates out the door, his entourage is also seeing Mayor Kroll. They move him out the door. Exterior, Bruce and Dick run out the door, each of them holding their date. Right behind them is Mayor Kroll and his entourage. They run towards the mayor's limousine. Dick hails a taxi. The taxi pulls up and Dick opens the door.
We got to get you ladies out of here.
Oh, Brucey, I don't want to leave ya.
It's all right, Crystal. I'll be okay. Just get in the cab with Harley. I'll call you later and make sure you got him, get home safe, okay?
Well, sorry things had to end so abruptly back there. I'm sorry about what I said back there, too. Really.
Harley turns her back to Dick and gets in the cab. Crystal follows her in, and Crystal looks back at Bruce.
I had a wonderful time, Brucey. Call me, please.
Bruce nods and shuts the car door.
Please.
Then he gives a 20 to the cabbie and the car takes off. Once the cab is out of sight, Bruce and Dick both race towards the Wayne limousine. Alfred is already opening the trunk.
You'll call her, huh?
Of course I will.
Yeah, right.
Mayor Kroll is getting into his limousine. He turns on his Secret Service men.
I'll be fine. Stay here and see if you can help these people.
I'll go with you, sir.
Mayor Kroll and the Secret Service men get into the back seat and the car drives off. The rest of the Secret Service walk back into the security facility. Exterior Gotham City. The cabs carrying Harley and Crystal drive down the street. Inside the cab, Harley keeps looking back at the security facility. Crystal's lost in her own thoughts, if you can call them that.
Brucey is so dreamy, isn't he?
Harley opens her handbag and opens it. Inside, all rolled up, is her costume. She's barely paying attention to Crystal.
Yeah, honey's great.
Suddenly, Harley opens the door, holding her handbag tightly, and jumps out of the moving cab.
Hey, where are you going?
Harley rolls into the street. Cars are whizzing by, honking their horns. One car is coming quite close to her.
Shit.
Harley flips herself up and then quickly leaps out of the way. Inside the limousine, Mayor Kroll and his Secret Service men are in the back seat.
Sir, sure everything's okay, sir?
Fine. Everything's okay.
The limo takes a sharp turn and Mayor Kroll looks out the window.
This isn't the way to my estate. Driver, where are we going?
The driver stares ahead, blank-faced, as he drives the limo. He's one of Scarecrow's hypnotized students.
Driver, stop this car now.
The Secret Service man leans forward to look at the driver.
Hey, you're not the regular driver.
Without a word, the student reaches in his pocket and pulls out a small pistol. He shoots the Secret Service man in the head. The Secret Service man falls back dead. The mayor starts shouting for someone to hear him. The student presses a button and the divider rolls up. Interior Wayne Enterprises security. As the people attending the party shriek and run for cover at whatever they believe is chasing them, the students dressed in scarecrow costumes crash through the windows and start making their way towards the cages, holding the weapons. Heading the attack is Cornelius Stirk.
Beautiful. Fear's the catalyst. Chaos is our reward.
As some scarecrow break open the cages and pull out the artillery, others are getting out of the room. Suddenly, Batman and Robin crash through the windows and leap at the scarecrows. Stirk sees what's happening and points to Batman and Robin.
Kill them.
The scarecrows all run towards Batman and Robin, but both of them do a good job at keeping them down.
Gotta get these people out of here. Talk to me, Batman.
Sorry, Robin, I was muted. I'll keep these guys down. You get them out to safety.
Robin runs up to the windows and breaks them all, getting some fresh air into the building. Then he starts herding the crowd into the streets. They're all still in a panic, but they are starting to calm down now that some fresh air is in their lungs. Batman is busy knocking down the scarecrows. Stirk gets off the stage and runs to collect some weapons. Batman pulls out his batarang and tosses it, taking out a few scarecrows at a time. Then he uses his grappling hooks to tie down a few more. Robin runs back inside the building and sees Stirk.
Stirk!
Stirk looks up at Robin and charges at him. Robin knocks down Stirk and kicks him in the head. Stirk falls to the ground. While he's on the ground, Stirk looks up at the scarecrows that are still standing.
Bring me the bird boy's feathered head.
The scarecrows advance at Robin, which distracts him from going after Stirk. Robin follows Batman's lead by pulling out of his batarang grappling hooks. Soon enough, a large portion of scarecrows are on the ground. Stirk runs out the door and Robin watches him lead.
You're going down, Stirk.
Suddenly, Harley Quinn leaps out from outside and kicks Robin in the chest. She then flips around him and kicks him in the leg. Robin looks up and recognizes the outfit.
Harley?
Batman runs up to help Robin, but Harley puts out a smoke bomb and throws it to the ground. The bomb explodes and smoke is everywhere. Neither Batman nor Robin can see. As the smoke slowly seeps out, Harley makes her way to the tied-up scarecrows and cuts them loose. Then the scarecrows grab some weapons and quickly make their exit. Robin notices the scarecrows leaving.
You're getting away.
Robin runs out the door, trying to chase them down. Outside, Robin runs outside to see that nobody is there. He drops on one knee to catch his breath and slams his hand into the road in anger and frustration. Batman comes up to Robin as police cars pull up. Robin's looking at Batman.
That was Harley. That court jester that ambushed us was my date tonight.
Batman helps Robin to his feet. Exterior Gotham University. The limousine pulls up in front of the university and the main door opens. Loud footsteps are heard. Inside the limousine, Mayor Kroll is wide-eyed, looking around the back seat for any way out. His Secret Service man is still lying dead beside him. When he hears the sound of footsteps getting closer, his breathing becomes more erratic and his heartbeat accelerates. Suddenly, the door flies open and the light from outside fills the back seat. Mayor Kroll wears a terrified look. A cloud of green mist moves towards Mayor Kroll.
Welcome to my master plan, Mr. Mayor.
Oh my God.
There'll be time for that later. As for right now, I have need for you.
The mayor inhales a green mist. Mayor Kroll sees the large, poisonous snakes crawling their way into the limo and onto his body.
Get them off of me! Snakes, please get them away from me!
You'll be gone forever, Mayor Kroll. As as long as you cooperate.
Scarecrow reaches in and grabs him by the shirt. He then slowly pulls Mayor Kroll out of the limousine. Interior, Wayne Manor. Bruce and Dick are watching the television. A female anchor person is on the screen.
Only a few short hours ago, Wayne Enterprises' grand unveiling of their new security facility was cut short with a fierce attack. Although the witnesses' reports were overall different, with some claiming to see giant killer bugs and others seeing the ground open up, the one thing they can all agree on is how it began. According to witnesses, a green mist filled the room, and an army of what can only be described as scarecrows crashed through the windows. Gotham police have taken in reformed criminal and psychology professor Dr. Jonathan Crane for questioning, but were forced to release him after an alibi proved he was not involved. Jonathan Crane had this to say.
The image on the screen changes to Jonathan Crane speaking in front of a large group of microphones.
You asked me if I hold any ill will. The answer is, of course not. The police have done a remarkable job in trying to grab a hold of this unfortunate situation, and it's only natural that they come to the man who has willingly taken part in it in the past. But that was the past, and I have left that life behind me. It was given up in exchange for a safe, albeit less than adventurous job of teaching. On the lighter side, I would like to commend the choice of wardrobe. From what I've heard, these pretenders to the throne look splendid.
Crane smiles as the reporters laugh at his little joke. The image changes back to the anchor. Bruce and Dick both exchange angry glances.
Despite a valiant effort by Batman and Robin, the Scarecrows escaped. A large amount of weaponry was successfully stolen. According to the other witnesses after the attack, another figure was seen assisting the army of pretenders to the throne. Identified as a female disguised in an outfit not unlike a court jester, this woman will no doubt mean more trouble for Gotham City. At this time, Bruce Wayne could not be reached for comment.
Dick's fists clench at the mention of the court jester. A piece of paper is handed to the anchor.
Oh, this just in.
She reads the paper.
The police have just received word from Gotham Secret Service that the mayor, Jefferson Kroll, has been reported missing. Okay, I'm gonna continue. He was last seen after chaos at the security facility broke out. Mayor Kroll was a guest speaker and was rushed into his limousine to take him back to his estate. As of now, neither the mayor nor the limousine have been found.
Come on, let's go.
Bruce and Dick walk towards the secret entrance to the Batcave. Exterior, Stirk's hideout. Stirk's hideout is under the bridge to Gotham City. It's a dark lair, looking not unlike many of the other shacks around his lower section of the city. The trucks pull up and Stirk and the Scarecrows step out.
All right. Let's get these loaded and ready for when your god returns to you.
The Scarecrows comply. Stirk watches them work. Suddenly, there's a tap on his shoulder. Stirk quickly turns around and reaches for his gun. Harley Quinn is standing in front of him. She smiles.
Now that won't be necessary.
Who are you?
The one who saved you and your little army here. I'm still waiting for my thank you.
Maybe you'll get it when you tell me who you are and what you want.
Harley Quinn.
She bows, just as she did when she was still in the circus.
Cornelius Stirk. And now we've eliminated all the needs for name badges. What do you want?
Same thing as you. Batman. On his knees, begging for his life. A half second before it ends.
How poetic.
But first, before that happens, I want something taken from him. Something very important. I'm sure you're up to the task.
Honey, if it's about hot wiring the Batmobile, I am far beyond that.
It's Harley, and I'm talking bigger than the Batmobile. I'm talking about his tag-along, the bird boy who doesn't seem to like you very much.
Stirk smiles.
Well, by all means, continue.
Exterior, Gotham City. The Batmobile and Redbird speed down the streets. Robin turns on his intercom.
Where to first?
Gotham University.
Batman is speaking into his intercom.
Possible that Crane kidnapped Kroll while his men hit the facility.
The Batmobile and Redbird drive past an alley. Standing in the alley is Dean Rowland, dressed in a hat and overcoat. He presses a button on his watch. A beeping sound is made. Interior Crane's classroom. Mayor Kroll has his hands tied behind his back. He's sitting on the desk. Scarecrow is walking around the room. Suddenly, there's a beep at his watch.
Excellent. Batman must be close. Which means it's time for us to make a departure, Mr. Mayor.
Exterior Gotham University. Scarecrow is pulling Mayor Kroll out of the college. Cornelius Stirk pulls up in the truck and steps out.
Why are you here? You should be back at the hideout.
I got a surprise for the Bat and the Bird.
Remember the plan. Don't kill the Bat. He has to see what we have in mind for Gotham City.
Of course, don't worry. This is just about the kid. I have something special for him.
Scarecrow smiles.
Then, by all means, enjoy yourself.
Scarecrow and Stirk put the mayor in the back of the truck. Once he's inside, Scarecrow sprays the mayor with fear gas.
This should provide entertainment for my trip. See you in a few, Mr. Mayor.
Mayor Kroll already starts screaming about the snakes when Stirk shuts the back of the truck. Scarecrow gets in the truck and drives off. Exterior Gotham City. The Batmobile and Redbird continue on towards the college. Batman clicks a button on his intercom and an image of Commissioner Gordon appears.
I'm here.
You obviously heard about the mayor.
My men are conducting a manhunt all around the city.
Get them to concentrate around Gotham University. He may be in that vicinity.
Right. We'll be right on it.
Batman clicks the button again and the image vanishes. Exterior Gotham University. Batman and Robin pull up outside. Batman steps out of the Batmobile and Robin gets off the Redbird. Both of them start running towards the school.
We'll split up. You take the bottom floor. I got the top.
Sure, just don't drive up there and everything should go fine.
Will you stop picking on me about that rooftop thing?
You should have thought about that before you cut my engines.
Sure. Next time I'll let you die.
Interior University. All the lights are out as Batman and Robin walk inside. Batman walks up the stairs to the upper floor. Robin takes the bottom and he walks around cautiously. He switches on his night vision to get a clearer look. He checks the classroom doors. Most of them are locked. As Robin goes deeper into the school, he sees someone at the end of the hall. He presses a button on his night vision. A binocular lens activates on Robin's night vision. At the end of the hall is Harley Quinn. She's doing cartwheels. When she's done, she stops and turns around, sees Robin, and smiles. Robin watches as Harley smiles at him, then runs down the adjoining hallway.
Harley?
Robin runs after her. Harley runs down the hallway into the auditorium. Robin runs after her and goes inside. Interior auditorium. The equipment used to hypnotize the students is still in boxes in the auditorium. The lights are out. Robin walks inside. He looks around the room for Harley, but she's nowhere to be found. Suddenly, the lights turn on. The light stabs into Robin's eyes. Robin lets out a scream of pain and drops to his knees as he struggles to turn off his night vision. Finally, when Robin has his sight back, he looks up and sees Batman standing before him.
Oh, it's you.
Yes, it is.
What are you doing down here? You said you were checking the top floor.
Suddenly, Robin remembers the situation from before. He looks up again and Batman smiles at him. Robin quickly executes a leg sweep on Batman. Batman falls to the ground and Robin jumps up.
Give it up, Stirk. I know it's you.
Robin pulls out a batarang and prepares to throw it at Batman. Batman gets up off the ground and quickly kicks Batman in the chest. Then he reaches behind his back and pulls out a special harpoon gun and aims it at Robin. Robin takes a few steps back and looks up at Batman. Batman fires the harpoon gun and the harpoon flies out and strikes Robin in the chest. Robin's body armor prevents it from breaking the skin. Robin looks down at the harpoon and tries to pull it off. Batman presses a button on the gun and a powerful electrical charge comes out. Robin shrieks out in pain as the harpoon gun does its job. Robin drops to his knees and he's being electrocuted. Inside the university top floor, Batman hears the sound of Robin screaming.
Robin.
Interior auditorium. With a shaky grip, Robin holds his batarang and, in a last-ditch effort, throws it. The batarang strikes Batman in the head and he drops the harpoon gun. Robin smiles for a moment, then drops to the floor. Smoke is seeping from his body. Batman transforms into Cornelius Stirk. Stirk rubs his head and slowly walks over to Batman. He kicks the body once. Robin barely moves. Stirk raises a foot over Robin's head.
Every man fears what it must be like in the great beyond. It's time to put your fears to rest, little man, forever.
Suddenly, a battering flies out and strikes him in the chest, and he puts his foot down and takes a few steps back. Batman is standing in the doorway. Stirk smiles at him.
Well, 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 look who's here. The big Bat. Only this time, he wasn't quick enough to save his little friend. Ah, look at that little face down there. Poor bird. Ain't it always cute when they're asleep? Or are they really asleep? Maybe something's wrong.
Stirk pulls out a knife.
Maybe we should see what's making him tick. You want to watch?
Batman lunges at Stirk and knocks him to the ground. He grabs a hand holding the knife and methodically squeezes it until Stirk lets go. Batman pushes the knife away and then pulls Stirk up and beats him into unconsciousness. Batman lets out screams of rage as he pummels Stirk. Finally, Stirk is on the ground, beaten into unconsciousness. Batman looks at him, then back at Robin. Robin is still lying on the ground and hasn't moved at all. Batman slowly walks to Robin and kneels down before him. He grabs Robin's wrist to check a pulse. There's still a pulse. Robin is still alive. Batman breathes a sigh of relief. Suddenly, there's a noise at the doorway. Batman looks up and sees Harley Quinn standing there for a moment. She smiles wickedly at Batman, then cartwheels out of sight. Batman stands up and walks towards the doorway. Harley is nowhere. The Batman looks over at the boxes of equipment, walks over to the boxes and pulls out one of the helmets. He holds it in his hand for a moment, then puts it back in the box. Exterior Gotham University. Police cars have pulled up. Officers are patrolling the college. Cornelius Stirk is being led out the door by two police officers. He's in a straitjacket.
How much you probably spent buying